I
off,
forgot to unmute us.
you're
Oops.
destroying the power bills of everybody.
Yeah, okay, we're currently
Oh,
talking about data centers, and just because someone said there is actually not, like an analyst literally said there's not enough money to actually build all the data centers the AI
yeah.
companies propose. And yeah, it's worse because, as I've said,
Yeah.
It's driving up power bills in local areas. It's
Mhm.
and not to mention, and I got this word from people who are actually like who are like doing the groundwork of pulling lines and setting up like the infrastructure for it. We don't like it's not sustainable.
yeah,
There's not enough power generation for these data
yeah,
centers. There's not enough electricity. There's not enough any of this stuff, and it's also going to destroy property prices, um, both increasing them and decreasing the value of people's currently owned homes.
it's destroying
Lot
farmland. Like,
Yeah,
legitimately, it's gonna destroy farmland.
also uses most of them use a lot of water.
Yeah, which is
yep.
destroying the farmland even worse. Which is like, I don't know what to say, but
Like
like,
this is
it,
if you thought that fracking was bad,
mhm.
this is so much worse.
Yeah, it's like, and here's the thing I want to just point out about the US. Like, you are an agricultural center of the world. People don't think about it. But let me be clear
Yep.
here. We should actually, I mean, you should get your farms out of the fucking desert. That is stupid. Like, don't overuse the Colorado River, you idiots. Anyway, but like the Midwest needs to be actively protected because it's such a huge breadbasket. There would be so much more famines if the Midwest was fucked. And right now, they are fucking the Midwest, not thinking about any
Yeah.
repercussions of
I
that.
mean, we all saw what happened after the Dust Bowl.
Oh yeah,
Like the Dust Bowl is like the main contributor to why the Great Depression happened.
yeah, one of the major ones, and there's a reason
I
this
mean,
had to be fixed.
tariffs were a part of it, but it and people
Mhm.
some economists will say like the ones that are on a that are on like Neve, that are on like TV shows will say, "Oh no, it was the tariffs that caused the Great Depression."
No,
But the main cause was the like started the cascade of everything was definitely the Dust Bowl.
yeah, it's like people forget that we do not have a lot of bread baskets in the world,
Yeah,
and bread
Ukraine
baskets
is one of
are,
them.
yeah. Remember, the moment the war in Ukraine started, the fucking wheat price went up, and it's not even one of the biggest ones. Like, again,
And then some
mhm,
sellers increased their prices even more because they could get away with it. So
yeah.
Yeah,
Like, let's put it like this: if US farming fails the world, we'll have to rely on the Dutch, and nobody wants that. I mean, also China.
Yeah.
The Chinese have technically a lot of regions to grow rice, but still, also Hungary.
Yeah.
Do we really want to rely on Hungary? Hungary,
we want to give them more power.
like the thing is, we would, like, if that happens, we would basically are forced to oust Orban because we just simply can't afford that. Hungary is not in, like, has to be in control of the EU, and even then, we still need.
Imagine a government would rule according to material reality. That would be nice, right? Just like, no matter what you think, just to be sure, climate change might be bad, might be worse. How about we just do something against it? Then we also don't need more coal, which we have not an endless supply of anyway.
Yeah,
So, imagine if governments were like that.
that would be very nice. But like, yeah, I mean, also Ireland is a bit of a breadbasket. Like, there are a few. Oh yeah, East Prussia was once, so like Brandenburg, etc., which is now split in half. Which, that's a thing. We that basically is Poland now, but like, still, that'd be nice. Both side, yeah, it would be. But like, it's just And like we're already losing Spain to a degree, and Spain is like still having a lot of growing power for vegetables and such. And yeah. But yeah, we have a few bread baskets, but not as much as like. I'm sorry, there is the fucking corn belt in the USA because, sorry, the USA can pump out so fucking much. I keep saying, the thing people forget about both world wars is the Allies were bankrolled in food by the US. The Soviet Union could have never fought that well if the USA didn't flood them with corn, wheat, and spam. Period.
Spam.
It's so funny because like the USA was like, oh, we should totally ration. They fought a world war and they never had a problem with agricultural output while bankrolling multiple nations at once. This is how significant the USA is in terms of agricultural power. And this is only also possible because the USA is, to a degree, such a big centralized country that just owns all that farmland. And yeah, that's just something we need to protect. Steel, equipment, logistics. Yeah, the USA just bankroll it all. Like, it's crazy. While also being, the most well-equipped and most advanced army just fighting in World War II, basically. It was not fair. World War II was not fair. I keep repeating myself, but yeah. Pax Americana has been pretty nice. Yeah. Here's the thing. The thing we need to consider is that when we talk about nations, it's just like unified rules and unified cooperation is better. Like that's what drove German unification. Not a weird sense of nationalism, but like quite literally, you had the Holy Roman Empire, then Napoleon rolled in, was like, a few states shoveled over, you're just one now, and they all were like, wow, this is so much better. We should just make this bigger. We don't hate each other that much. So yeah, it's sensible because we need to just have that.
I think it's very important that German, also called in English, states,
yeah,
hate each other. That's very important.
we kind of hate each other, yeah.
The one time where we didn't end well.
Yeah.
And Austria still doesn't admit fault for it. They made the guy.
But yeah, it's just kind of interesting because, like, yeah, the data centers are bad. Features that things get better when the circle of who we consider us expands. Yeah, this is why I'm like very like. Here's the thing, I'm very much pro-European. I know some people are like, or have like very dumb ideas, but I think like here's the thing. European history has been always intertwined with so many nations. Like, you cannot write the history of Europe and the cultures of Europe without Scandinavian cultures. They're distinct, but Scandinavians are Europe. Meanwhile, you can also actually not write European history and European cultures without the influence of Arabian cultures. Turkey, the Levant, Egypt, those are fundamental influences of our culture. They are also part of Europe because we just share like literally one sea. And the same goes for Algeria and Morocco. Like, I'm sorry. When someone says, where should the EU stop? You know what? First, we draw the outlines of the Roman Empire, and then everyone else who had some influence on us, and then we can talk about the rest. Because the European history and culture is so much more than just France and Germany. I mean, sorry, who gave the Austrians the idea for bathhouses and coffee houses? Not the British. It was pretty much the Persians. So, totally the old world. Yeah. It's just that Europe is more than that. I think that's fair. I do think at some point we probably will run into some cultural barriers. That's like one thing or another. But we can still cooperate.
I mean, that's mostly the idea of the European Union anyway. Be in there so that we don't fight a war against each other.
Yeah. And if someone is idiotic enough to do a war against us, they have a problem. Anyway, we're not living in a perfect world. I do think we can't just go from here to one unified world, but we can start with like maybe tearing down enough stupid borders. And also maybe get rid of the bus driver in Istanbul. Like, let's just be real, Orban and the bus driver, we could maybe get rid of them. Would be nice.
Bus drivers in Athens sounds a lot more fun if you do not have the real life example.
Yeah. Also, bus drivers are hard-working people. He just tarnishes their whole
Reputation, yeah.
And there's evidence to the pain, but we should be careful that goes to build unity starting wherever we can. Yeah. Like, that's the thing. People are like, oh, what you want is utopian. I know. I will probably not reach it in my lifetime. But fucking hell, why should I dream of anything less than a unified world? Sorry. It's only in a German-French Erbfeindschaft. Yes. I still want a German-French reunification. And they were like, what? Yeah. Return to Charlemagne borders. It's a cynical smart strategy. Yeah. I mean, utopian and like, it's a vision of a better future, but like, yeah. Yeah. Didn't we talk about data centers and how bad they were? Because, yeah, they're destroying the groundwater, they're destroying everything, they're racking up the energy prices. There's not enough energy around for that. And, like, we need to fix our energy. Okay, can we just talk about that for a second? We need to fix our energy supply. Fast. All that space could have been used for, like, windmills, solar. No. We're slamming down just energy gobbling monsters, energy and water gobbling monsters that just hallucinate you a very shitty version of Batman.
Isn't there that what's it called? That Belgian project or whatever, the wind farm thing?
I don't know what you
There's like the North Sea wind farm, I think.
A lot of them do that. Like, I mean,
yeah.
We also built them here in Germany. We built a bunch in the North Sea. We separated our soft-minded aristocrats from the siren song of AI charlatans. It's baffling how easy that took on, actually. But, like, I mean, let's just be real here. You know what the funniest fucking bit is? That, we always got told, oh no, you're not supposed to trust everything on the internet. Be skeptical, be reasonable. I was like, yeah, that's fair. That's completely right. And you know what? I think our parents gave us really great advice on how to handle the internet. And then they went on Facebook and believed every single bullshit that was put in front of their faces. Okay. And they're using their real name on the internet. And they're looking at AI pictures and like, that's so nice. And then when you're like, that's fake, they're like, yeah, but it could be real. And you're like, what is going on with you? Why is there like rapid onset dementia in so many of our parent generation? It can't be just a lead. they got turned on its head pretty quick, right about exactly when it became expedient. Yeah, like, you know what? I kind of wish I never taught my grandparents how to do Skype. Okay, you know what? I'm just for clarity here. I'm actually pretty chill. I know people have their experience with grandparents or parents explaining something like Skype, and like 2 years later they're like, "Did you know that insert minority X runs the banks?" Usually starting with a J, and you're like, "Wow, that was fast." Keep old people away from computers for their sake and the world's. There was a few years, like 3 or 4 years ago, where I paid so little for my energy that the energy company refused to send invoices. But now I pay 40 euros per month. Yeah. And like, I mean, I will keep saying, at least, especially in Germany, it's fucked anyway. And like, this is always so funny when people are like, look how the energy prices are different listen, Germany produces a lot more energy cheaper than most other countries around them. We have actually built so much solar and wind over the last years that we are ahead of the schedule right now. It's just from one green government that was sabotaged. But like, the thing is, and that is kind of crucial to keep in mind, the dumbest thing that a lot of European countries have is that the price of energy is tied to the most expensive production method. So a lot of people, they just have 1 or 2 gas turbines around, which are like inefficient, shitty, and cost a lot to run. And that's just like, oh yeah, that dominates the whole price. Even though everything else is actually cheap as fuck. Capitalism is the most efficient system in the world. Sorry, I just had to get that out. Yeah, people should have kept away. Honestly, I'm kind of happy about the fact that at least my parents were always pretty online, so also leftist, so like they're not so I can be happy that my parents didn't get swept up in AI bullshit, which is good. Actually, they kind of despise it, so that's double good. And my grandma, well, the one that's left is she has problems with her telephone ringtone. Yeah, like, you know, in hindsight, I don't deserve that return. You guys were also giving, yeah, I mean, my grandpa still kinda saw it, and he still fucking hated it. And I get it, because, you know, he basically was a fucking, how's it called? How is it called when hostage under the Nazis? So that's that. It's so upsetting. In the US, we're also gearing up to export all our LNG, while also removing any subsidies for wind solar. So huge energy crunch is basically inevitable. But it's so stupid. It's so utterly stupid. Like, you know what's
I still wonder how the whole climate change isn't real and wind energy is bad thing came even to be.
Oh, I can tell you how that was. Literally in the 2000s, the Koch brothers realized, fuck, our business will go out of we will go out of business because everything else is just better.
But couldn't they just
it.
see this fact and with all their money make wind, solar,
they're hateful old dipshits,
and hydro invest in there, have even more money then?
Yeah.
When the old stuff gets out, and be celebrated as heroes because they were capitalists that did the right thing.
You're not thinking rational.
Yeah, that's
I mean,
the problem.
they're also hateful, so no. Also, they just didn't believe in climate change or anything else. With hydraulic empire, yeah. I mean, it's also just like, you need to keep in mind, this isn't about energy, because you need to keep one thing in mind. Solar and wind is inherently decentralized and liberalizing energy production. Because to make wind and solar work, you need wind farms, you need solar farms, but you need also a network that is expansive and also isn't controlled by one source. Coal and oil is like you build one power plant, you supply it, and you have like literally so much leverage because you can just turn it off. Yeah, petroleum is controllable. Yeah. And by the way, this is not about if it's good or not, but this is why a lot of rich people right now are pushing nuclear. Because a bunch of them are seeing that, coal and petroleum isn't viable anymore, but they really do not want to have the decentralized power as much. Because nuclear would still be controllable while being, also part of hegemonic power, because, France is getting them from colonies and Russia is mining it from colonized countries. Let's just not ignore that. All the right parts of Russia, all stretching to Asia over there, that's colonies. Yep. I think also nuclear would not be fast enough. This is just it's just when people talk about, oh, what should we do? Bitch, build more wind and solar, because we need non-polluting energies fast. Period. And then people are like, oh, but what is like, you know what? I'm looking up the English word for that. That's the thing. In Germany, it's called Dunkelflaute, and in English, it's also Dunkelflaute. Wow, you just copied our word. Damn. Basically, the idea is that during the night there would be no wind and no solar power. And then you become the sun. Can we do that? And here's the thing. I think in the last years this happened twice or two or three times in Germany. 2 or 3 times, and it was not noticeable because guess what? Also, hi, Sarah. Because guess what? During the night, less people use electricity. So, yes, it went down, but it was not so much that, hydroelectric power couldn't, because we still have hydroelectric power.
Also, we have an electric grid for more than just Germany. That's how we sell electricity.
Yeah.
So
also, you could reasonably still hold on to some fossil fuel power production for the reduced load at night.
Yeah, that's the thing. I do think
fossil
maybe
fuel has to go away forever.
Yeah, the thing is, and that's what I will say. This is why I hate when people just say, "Oh yeah, we need a base coverage from nuclear power." No, bitch, we need a base coverage from wind, solar, and hydro, and there are maybe some regions where we could actually use nuclear to cover where we can't do all the other things. But considering nuclear energy also takes up a lot of water, we're still in a bit of a problem here. And again, most of this shit can still be, and I will be clear here, covered by just having a better network. Also, here's the thing. If we install a battery, we have really good batteries right now, and they're just getting better. Just install a big battery in every single house. You just turned your whole country into a backup grid. Anyway, it's a highly solvable problem. It's an infrastructure problem. It's not we need one over the other. Right now, we need to build shit fast. Sorry, nuclear isn't solving that problem. It doesn't. And let me be clear here. You don't want very fast built nuclear reactors.
Nuclear could eventually solve the problem, but not fast enough.
Yeah. And the more we invest in solar and wind, by the way, when people are like, oh, but you can't recycle that shit. Here are 2 things. First of all, do you know how fucking expensive it is to recycle a nuclear reactor? Because that's one part they never talk about. They're expensive to build. They last like 20 to 30 years. And yeah, you can stretch them.
Progressively lower output.
Yeah, you can stretch them. Look at France, but France currently has them running at 50 to 60% output. That's a bad deal. And I just want to point out, in Germany, they actually went and decommissioned a nuclear reactor. And they started decontaminating it in the 90s, and the plan was to, just remove it in the 2000s. They're still decontaminating. Turns out there's a lot more radiation in a nuclear reactor building than we thought. A lot more radiation. And we need to scan the whole building. Like, no shit. I think nothing was just more eye-opening than seeing a documentary where there was a clip of someone sitting behind the PC, and there's just like a giant scanner, and a bag of rubble just drives through it, and they're like, yep, the whole building has to go through here, else we can't be sure where it needs to go. And it's like, that's insane. You can't do fast, you can't scale up with a bunch of inertia. Yeah. There is room for nuclear. Like, as I say, when people, I'm not saying I'm against nuclear, but like, nuclear should be used on ships. Like, I'm sorry, we need cargo ships. And at some point, yeah, we can make it easier with, wind energy, but like, the best is to a degree just have nuclear cargo ships. And also replace more with trains. Like, yeah, we need to ship shit between, America and Europe, and America and Asia. But, sorry, the Chinese are onto something with the idea of just building a big railway between Europe and China. We kind of need to expand that, just saying. Like, 10-track railway, go. So it's just by far the cheapest now, so why aren't we just doing that? Because there are so many dumb ideas are out there about people just not understanding how technology works.
And capital interest.
Because again, a lot of people do not want to have energy democratized. Because, yeah, we could just hand out basically a grant and say, hey, every building gets a solar for free. We just bankroll it. That would be so utterly cheap in comparison. Because imagine you just literally say, by law, every building gets solar.
If Victoria would go into the 2000s, that's exactly what every player would do.
Yeah.
Also subsidize.
By the way, also let's
switch over to PMs. That's all you have to do.
Also, let's do the 1-2 punch. Every building, by mandate, gets a heat pump. This would actually decrease our energy usage by so gigantic a fucking much, because...
And since we're building tons of heat pumps, the how's it called? The manufacturing cost would go down in the long run.
It's like, here's the thing. To quote Technology Connections, heat pumps are the closest thing we have to free energy. It's just like that. Also, let's just be real here. We're currently having a problem with heat deaths in the summer. It would vanish overnight. Yeah. Literally. Also, while we're at it, you know what we can also just do much better? We can go and we can look at our regional railway systems, and then we just put trams on there, tram trains, and then you can have everyone from the rural areas just drive into the city where they want to go and back electrically. And you're like, okay, but how do they get there? You build bikeways. Like, if you have bike infrastructure, people drive to the stations and take the tram. And it would all be either muscle power or electric power.
Depending on the distance, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you know what's also good? You know what? Let's just go all out, because you know what you could also do with tram tracks? Because if you're like, for example, smart now, and you're like, in cities, tram tracks should be grass.
Yeah.
Because that's just perfect. It's better for the environment. It increases rainwater absorption, period. But outside of cities,
It's also brighter at night because asphalt absorbs a lot of light.
yeah. But you know what else you could do outside of cities if you're cheeky and you do a little bit of research into it? You could actually put solar panels in between the tracks. You know how people wanted to turn streets into solar panels, but then everyone was like, wait, that's an absolute stupid idea because, you know, the car drives over it and it's just like cars are heavy and just ruin asphalt and, you know, everything. But you know what the upside is about trains? They don't run on that. They would run on elevated steel barges and everything can just be in between. And so around there's grass, but where people would use it anyway, train runs over it.
Arguably, there'd be concerns about the ballast and stuff like that, but
yeah,
I'm sure a lot of that could be figured out. It's just a matter of how.
Okay, you know what? This is probably my most brain infused take ever, but like, I fucking hate it how there's so much talk about bullshit people want to do with cars that are 100% solvable easily in the next 2 to 3 years if they were done with trains.
It's not about cars, yeah, you forget. It's about pods.
Don't kill me like that.
Sorry.
I mean, it's just...
I mean, psychic damage is part of her MO, so...
Yeah, I guess. But, like, I mean, what is a tram if not the best version of a pod? Fair point. Yeah. But yeah, it's like, oh, we need to... what if we automate cars? You can automate trains right now. It's doable. They're currently working on automating the S-Bahn in Hamburg, a legacy system. That's amazing. Agonia must cause mental agony. It's necessary. Yep, that's just my life. I chose this. Yeah. And I don't know. Like normative determinism. Yeah. It just I don't know what to say otherwise. It's just we are standing at such a I think a lot of people just cannot fathom economical collapse. And like you need to keep in mind that America still is like the number one agricultural exporter if they want to, because they produce so fucking much.
They're kinda dependent on cattle import, but yes.
They could have had more, but that's the difference. But still, the thing is, the Americans already are losing so much farmland to the fucking suburbs. The Mississippi River system is OP as fuck. It is. But yeah, like, you're already losing so much due to the suburbs, where before, like, quite literally, shit was grown near town, was hauled onto trains, and hauled into the city. And instead of expanding that system, it was bulldozed over. And, like, and you still have such gigantic outcome. And now, you know, the data centers would just destroy that. It's so... We can't afford to lose the Mississippi River system. We can't. It's just... Middle-class folk need their own little estates so they can pretend they're real nobles. No, they fucking don't. I know how you mean it, but no. You know, I grew up I lived in a fucking row house. And it's fine. We still had a garden. We still had a front yard. There was still room. I want a cool train dining cars with good food back. Let me dress as a Victorian lady and go around the world by train. Yes, yes, yes. I mean, here's the thing. I get why a lot of European trains are the way they are. But you know what? I think, especially for the USA, Siemens should sit down and actually make, a long distance version of the ICE. Because the ICE 3 is amazing. And I will say, for example, you could sit down and just, if they wanted to, they could just buy up the, everything from the Northeast Corridor, like from the border, from Canada down to New Orleans, the Crescent, great train line, by the way, upgrade it, make it electrified, maybe make a separate, high-speed railway line, and then it would be still a long travel time, because the east coast of the USA is big. It's pretty fucking big.
It takes about 3 hours by train to get from DC to New York.
Yeah, but also, if you could drive, at 300 kilometers per hour, it would be faster. Different topic, though. But you know what you then do? You make this, you might make it a pretty long train, because that's one thing, and then you put in the really, really good old seats and the nice, maybe, expand it. 2 dining cars, have some good food on there, doesn't need to be the most extravagant, but have some good food on there, and then we talk, because then people would genuinely love to be there. And you know what? You don't even need to have the best food. You know what? You can just have one car that is you can get some hot wings, you can get some fries, and there's a monitor.
So the distance we talked about with Washington and New York
is 361 kilometers.
Yes. And from Hamburg to Munich, it's 777 kilometers.
Yeah, which is, that's 7 hours, but roughly the same with train.
No, that's not train. That's car. With a train, it's 3 hours 17.
No, 6 hours. 6 hours 26 minutes.
Yeah, 6 hours. Yeah. Sorry.
Right. But yeah, that's
not even that well built.
Yeah,
and America has the resources to do a lot better than we do.
Problem is that we don't have the centralized authority. We don't have the level of centralized and distributed authority to do so. A lot of our roadblocks are in the more local level, and then the other side is the federal government doesn't want to deal with that.
Yeah, the political will isn't really there. Even less than in Germany.
Yeah. But it's just... again, you can have 2 train cars, one is more, you get a good meal, and the other one is just a bar with a TV, and sports is running, and people can, eat buffalo chicken wings, and just you know how much, dudes you would get to drive the train, because they're are you going to the game? Hell yeah, and they're just in the car, and they're just talking about dude shit and watching sports and eating hot wings, and they're this is the best way to travel, man.
Why are you making 2000?
I don't know, but this is a sympathetic take, by the way.
I know. But it reminds me to the 2000 stoner culture.
You know what?
Which were hella chill.
I'm gonna be honest. If the USA train industry needs one thing, then it's Harold and Kumar take the Acela train. Okay? It would boost so much. Remember what they did to White Castle? Everyone would be wow, that's a fast train. They would just be wow, that's a fast train. They would be yeah, that's a fast train. But you see, we much prefer to hemorrhage money subsidizing our air travel industry. Welcome to Dude Express. We're way out, man. I don't know why I'm doing this right now. I guess that's my incentive to fix American train travel. But yeah, hey, not even that. You're also killing air guidance. So like this is just worse. Like air travel just gets worse on top. So like, yep. God. I don't even want to be that bad to air travel, but like, I'm sorry. Air travel should just be between continents, not, small scale stuff.
I mean, I wouldn't really call going from East Coast to West Coast of the U.S. small scale.
That's true, but also like, I mean, again, if the
But like, you shouldn't need to take a plane from
yeah,
like DC to Virginia.
it's what I'm saying. As long as there's like 2 to 3 corridors with like dedicated high speed rail, and the trains can go fast.
I think there should be a plane flight for. I think that there can be, like, at the shortest, plane flights should be maybe 3 hours.
Yeah, like I do think some are sensible, but like I would say the moment there is a regular way to travel across the country, and the trains are fast and comfortable. The thing
With the
people,
I will say the exceptions of like more remote areas that would do better from just maintaining a small airport.
it depends. But like I mean,
we have a lot of those places here in the U.S. where it's like the small airport is the best way to get in.
right now, but
No,
like let me just
yeah.
let me just put what is wrong?
This got problems.
Huh? You just want to leave and maybe return?
Yeah.
Hey.
There, put me back in.
Yeah. Hello? Oh, wait. There you go. Like, the thing is,
As test. Is that you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Still
Can you
can't
hear
hear him. Let me see.
Let me see.
problems right now. We have some technical problems.
Can you hear me now?
No, I hear you over Nya's headphones.
Yeah. You know what? Let's open the browser.
Where's my... Yeah?
Yeah. It's on the speech, I think. No, Sprachmute-Chat.
Yeah, it changed.
Now?
Hello? Can you hear me?
No. That's just input. Oh. No, wait. If you go on output again. Output. The second one should it be? Then go into Microsoft.
Because it's this one.
Is it that?
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing.
No, then that should be that also in Discord.
But I'm still not hearing that.
I haven't. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, that should be it actually. Can you no, look on that's microphone test you put on, by the way.
I don't have the microphone test. I don't use it.
Okay, can you scroll down? It should be a test.
No. It isn't.
Okay, weird.
Can do this, and this works.
Yeah, but can you go back out? Maybe then it's you can hear him. Zeb, can you say something?
Yeah, can you hear
No,
me?
it doesn't work.
Okay. On that and go out again. The Lautsprecher. Yeah, click on that. The second one. Now go out again. Zeb?
Yeah.
Okay, now it works.
Okay, you just had to get out.
Oh, nice.
So Discord had a problem and then decided to just switch the audio source.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, I want to point something out. I know I talked about this before, but like, hey, look at this wonderful map of the United States of America and the Amtrak system right now. Boy howdy. Um, it's Discord. Discord has problems. Oh yeah. Good night, mandatory pizza. See you in the future. Sorry that we were a bit off. But yeah. Here's the thing. As you can see, Northeast Corridor, banger. But like, there are 3 major routes. From basically all from Chicago, by the way. Like, can we just point out that you basically only need like one good railway line from Chicago to Washington D.C., and you would have like a really good interconnected region here. But anyway,
We have the lines, and direct train and nearly
yeah, but like
direct trains, but it's like not the best.
But I mean, like, build up to high-speed rail. Like, Washington to Chicago should be a high-speed railway line. And Chicago to New York, Chicago, Philadelphia, New York, Boston should also be one. Also, over Buffalo and up to Montreal. Anyway, but the thing is, from Chicago, you could have one going to Seattle. As you can see here, one goes to Sacramento. And you can have one over Kansas City to Los Angeles. All of these lines could have support multiple times per day with high-speed rail. Like, you don't need to have them like every hour, but like 1 or every 2 hours, have one train going. And the thing is, Chicago mentioned, and the thing is, what this would mean, also from Chicago to New Orleans, also another easy one. Like, you can have like four major lines. The thing is that all of these cities on this line would benefit from that, because taking the train from Albuquerque to Topeka, or by the way, build one between Albuquerque and Denver, just saying, would work. But also, if you then put a little bit of effort into your regional rail system, all of these lines would support the smaller towns in between better than airports, because you can just get in and out every minute by train, every hour. It would just go train in each direction. That's what you want. You want a network that is working 24/7. Maybe not that much in the night, but still. Because the moment that is up, people will use it. People will use a network that is running, because the key point about travel that is always ignored is that time is not the main point. Time is not the main factor on how people go. The main thing is quality, and especially, and that is the crucial part, planability. Right now, the only thing that really seems reliable, reliability in USA, is airplanes. Because, you don't have traffic jams in the air, really. Well, not that much. You don't have.
You kind of do, but it's like it's more of like a funnel thing with airports.
Yeah, and even though everyone says it kind of sucks to just be on the fucking plane, because you have to go and wait, have check-in. You can't put that much in, etc., etc., etc. You could just go on a train, have all the things you want, just slam in there, chill. And yes, if it takes 1 or 2 hours longer, who cares if you can just walk, if you can just have some freedom, to walk around. And you know what? You can have good internet connections on that. So you can just, here's the thing. If you have someone that needs to go on, as a business trip, the best thing to have would be if they can be like, yeah, maybe it takes 1 or 2 hours longer, but I can work in peace. I can have meetings spontaneously. Like the ICE, the original ICE, legitimately had telephones and special rooms for people to have meetings in. they planned those to be business hubs. And it makes sense, right? You wouldn't do business on the plane, but you would definitely do business on the train. So this would just be better for business. Anyway, going off about trains again. Ozzy. And yeah, most airlines probably just like people, complaining about airlines is just like it's just a staple on American TV. So like, yeah. One track mind. Fair point. Yeah. Da 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 da. Ah. Oh well. Yeah, I mean, it's just a thing about the USA. In the end, you just need the funding. Sorry if I rambled so much. We were talking about data centers and how bad they are for the environment. God. But yeah, as you said, Zep, yourself, it's just so much worse than probably people could imagine.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, legitimately, I saw some videos about them being like, they've planted a data center, and then like the bill of everyone around them just shot up by like 300% or so, which is it's just absurd, because like obviously
and here's the thing: these people, these locals, had zero say in whether that data center would go in.
Yeah, it's like. I don't know what to say, actually.
Yeah, no, the problem is that the situation is fucked, and no one that can do something about it will do something about it.
I mean,
because there's other problems that so the people that would do something about it aren't going to, because they're too busy being distracted by other shit that they don't need to be focused on. This is like back onto like the whole thing with infighting on both sides, actually, and just yeah, basically politics is fine.
One of those data centers will burn. Like, this isn't even saying like it should. This is just like this will happen. Like, what do you expect? So they planned a data center there. It just skyrockets the bill of like legitimately poor as fuck people, and then no one does anything, and no one is like, hey, maybe the data center should just pay more to make the energy cheap again. And the answer to that will be, for a lot of people, hey, Molotov cocktails are cheap. Like, we're talking rural America. There's gonna be one truck that they probably don't need, and it's
God.
like,
yeah.
What?
You know the slogan? If you turn that into a slogan, you make it Mecca.
What?
MECA. Make energy cheap again.
Hell yeah, I love Mecca. Make energy cheap again.
Some of the things that we say on this is hilarious. I love it.
It's not bad though.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's just like, I mean, you're just basically literally breeding angry people. Angry people with a lot of time, and let me just put it like this: disposable things to blow shit up, because they've always been blowing shit up. Like, good good idea to piss off the rednecks, is what I'm saying. On their home turf.
Moonshiners are plenty ready to do stuff.
They are just waiting for something like that, to a degree. Like, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if, like, in the aftermath, someone's like, wait, someone just distilled a new type of car fuel, basically, and they were like, yeah, that thing is really good to drink. Because it's like, yeah. God, it's depressing. But yeah, the whole energy, it's just. You'd really think we would reach these level of just comically evil exploitation again, but here we are. Here we just fucking are, and it's like, you know what? You know what's even more dumb about all of this? That it's done so utterly incompetently. Like, I don't know how to put in better words, but like, we are literally dealing probably with the dumbest generation of capitalists and fascists.
I think there are just a lot of things that I would be more willing to accept if it was done competently.
It depends, but like,
yeah, depends,
it's just that's probably the weirdest thing I would bring up. But like, here's the thing: any type of fascist takeover is bad. Let's just set the groundwork here, okay? Okay. It's just kind of infuriating to look at the fascists trying to do the takeover and just being utterly fucking incompetent at doing it. There's just this weird thing that turns on in your mind. You're like, you ain't bad at the one job you have. I could do this better, you dipshit. You're not even taking power correctly. You're not consolidating, the force. You're not getting rid of your enemies. Why are you so utterly dumb? And then you look over to the capitalists and like, why are you just exploiting without thinking that there would be no pushback, you dipshits? It's like, when the Gilded Age was around, it was worse. We're getting to a new Gilded Age. We're basically arguably in a Gilded Age right now. But those people at least knew that they needed to do something about the working class. Now it's just like, we just slap a gigantic fucking brick in the countryside, destroy a shit ton of farmland, suck the groundwater dry, and then just rack up the energy bills. And you're like, wow. You really think there will be no repercussions to that? Are you this? Ivory Tower. They were just fucking sitting in an ivory tower. It's just infuriatingly dumb. I don't know what to add here. I'm sorry, Zep. It's like, you get me though, right?
Yeah, no, I understand. It's just, there's just a lot that's not going well.
Like, I make jokes about, the IKEA tariffs disenfranchising the average American couch fucker, but like, what can I say? There's just
Not much, really.
there's just nothing behind that. Also, like, other than, you know what? I'm still waiting for someone to dig up the one thing this idiot saw to just announce the tariffs. Like, there's always something. Probably was
Oh, I'm
something.
sure that some like self-proclaimed history buff on the right probably saw like, oh yeah, the U.S. used to run off of tariffs.
No, I mean,
But we were insanely poor as a federal government when we did so.
actually, I was more in the sense of, what kind of, like, weird late night right wing TV shit did he watch to just announce tariffs specifically aimed at IKEA? Like, what the fuck is what is the logic behind
no
that?
idea.
It's
Probably
just,
some weird podcast.
it's like, what was it this time? What kind of insane brain rot was it this time?
Probably some weirdo who was on Charlie Kirk's podcast at some point.
It's, seriously, I don't even want to know to a degree, because, like, every source of this bullshit is dumber than the next one. Always. Like, who has fucking beef with IKEA? He read that it read to him at some point and liked the idea. Hey, subtlety, maybe. I don't know. It could very well be. I don't know. It's just, you're sitting there and you're like, it's just dumb, you know? It's just dumb. Blah.
I am indeed sitting here.
Yeah, we're both. Like, he just said something he submitted. It's just, oh god, this just makes even. It just makes it worse. I can't believe to say this, but, like, wowsy, is it kind of frustrating to watch the most inept fascist in the right now just fumble around.
When we are at inept fascists, like, I was watching a video on the site, and you know what YouTube recommends me? A card daily. Sargon of Akkad is still around.
Why did you just need to make my day worse?
I don't know. Why does he still exist?
I don't know.
YouTube channel, I mean.
You know what? I'm pretty sure that if someone loses relevancy of YouTube, they just don't just stop existing. Like, imagine if you just get like, oh no, my YouTube channel fell under 1,000 subscribers, and just, you just get like Thanos snapped away. It would be glorious to some, but still.
Why?
Like some. Hey, Vampire Survivor. That sounds like a good time, actually.
And he's still using the wrong avatar.
Why? I just. They are kind of frustrating. Yeah, here's the thing. You know what? I will be clear. I'm happy that they're incompetent dipshits. Okay? There, I said it. Like, they're currently mishandling creating a martyr so much that it's like becoming obvious to the average normie how stupid they are. And what is going on. It's like, it's just, okay. I grew up in Germany. I learned for basically 2 years or so, we learned how the Nazis got into power. How they consolidated power, how they kept people in line. And, my grandparents talk about it. I learned how such a fascist takeover happens and how to be prepared for that. And then you watch this thing happening right now, which is definitely an attempt at it. And you're just like, what the fuck are you doing there? This is embarrassing.
Even I could do it better.
We all could do better. It's just... Again, I will say the biggest downside of modern fascists is that they're basically just puppets for capitalists that want to shield their own interests.
They always were. It's just like...
Can I say one thing?
In earlier times, fascists were more competent, which is good that that's over now.
Okay, can I say a thing here? Yes and no. Because here's the thing. Right now, like, fascists always acted in the interest of capital. Because they were opposed to, communists. That's how that happened. But what a lot of people ignore is that a lot of fascists in the past were actually ideological driven. They weren't just, put in by some rich capitalists to deny climate change. That's stupid. I could see that subtlety. Yeah, I don't think anyone wanted this to happen. Even Trump voters don't want this to happen.
They thought
I think part of the problem in the U.S. is that a lot of people with like the youth vote, I think a lot of people who were becoming voters did not grow up with grandparents that had experienced the war, World War II.
Probably, but like,
and so
that's not like actually the point. It's more like,
yeah.
It's just, yeah. Overall, like, just having like, I think what a lot of people really forget is that, if we look at the fascist dictators of, of old, yeah, in the end they had to work with capitalists because that's how they kept into power. It's just a way for capitalism is just very handy for authoritarian systems to work as a structure. Period. Hitler wasn't a fucking puppet of the capitalists. He worked with them. But like, he was definitely doing more demands to them than they could do to him. He was in this for his ideology. Again, maybe we should be lucky that there is not actually a fascist in power who's, not in it for the fucking capital, but, actually for the absolutely disgusting and, destructive ideology that they preach. I mean, sometimes it's self-destructive, like, look at fucking Italy and just being like, we need to rebuild the Roman Empire, like... He believed that. Can you believe that? He believed that. Anyway. That's just a key thing I want to point out. We are lucky that we don't have fascists right now who are, like, in it for the ideology.
At least not in power.
At least not in power. And it hopefully stays that way.
And at least a lot of the ones that are genuinely in it for the ideology are seen by the ones that are using it as their own tool, see the ones that are in it for the ideology as weirdos. And so they only marginally associate.
Those people are definitely more a problem to them than anything else, which is very funny.
Yeah.
But like, yeah. Talking a lot about history and current... Oh, this is one hell of a Nyacast again. Damn.
The Nyacast.
We always have the heavy-hitting topics here. You did miss a great Vicky 3 game, though. We just bullied the Ottoman Empire constantly. I mean, the problem with capitalism is to the degree that with time, it will never honor the social contract. Because that's the thing. Capitalism in of itself has problems. If you are, not stupid and not egocentrical, you will realize that workers need money. Actually, you do not need that much money. Like a lot of after World War II, this wasn't just only to keep the working class happy. It was also just the fact that, again, money that isn't being spent is worthless. So, if you're actually smart, you want to be taxed. Because taxing is just like the most efficient way to redistribute money. You want money to keep flowing. The thing is just, wait literally one generation or two, and your inheritance, these dipshits, they always think like, well, I earned that. They did nothing. They just lived like that, and they just want more because they have no concept. They have no idea of economy. They have nothing. They just want more money. And so they keep supporting shit that just makes them pay less taxes, lets them inherit more. It's an inherently self-destructive cycle because, again, the people with money never, ever will be able to hand down the simple idea of you should not sit on your money.
Yeah. As long as you have an economic system reliant on wealth that you can accumulate, someone will accumulate it. Wealth is to a degree power, and they will abuse that sooner or later.
Sooner or later, yeah. It's like, yeah.
That's why we have all those legislations against monopolies and stuff, because otherwise, well, it would obviously happen. And the people who normally would do that also lobby for it most of the time. Like, as long as we're using money, it's an endless fight. And I bet even if we would get rid of money, we would have different problems. But
like, let's just be real here. The thing about ideology is when people are like, oh, what is your solution? I don't know. I just can tell you that right now it's definitely not working. It didn't work out like twice. And also, let's just be real here. We can maybe agree on some better fundamentals on how to structure society than just some person has more money. Could be worth a try.
yeah,
We can still iron out the problems, and if it fails, then it failed. We can try something else. Maybe Soviet Union style state capitalism is the solution all along. Who the fuck knows? It isn't. It's actually cyber communism done in Chile, but that was never been able to done to fruition because thank you CIA. Anyway, just had to go throw out some Chile appreciation here.
that's fair.
Wait, you read back from every 1 billionaire. The economy crashes due to extra capital. It wouldn't really crash that hard, actually, as long as we just spend it on everyone. Like that's the thing, if we get that in terms of concurrent tax revenue, you can put it into infrastructure projects. That's then money that will flow back to workers.
If you rotate the money back in via taxes, then that solves that problem almost entirely because now the government can safely invest it.
Yeah.
And when I say invest it, I don't mean, put it in stocks. I'm talking about investments in like infrastructure.
And as I said, just build trains, build solar.
And someday we will be done with building them, then it's maintaining them, and when we still have too much money, we can think about stuff like universal basic incomes, as long as it's not too high, which I doubt that it will be, because people with not an absurd amount of money will spend it.
Yeah. I mean, hell, you know what? If you just cycle all that money into just giving every country, every house.
Even if you ignore that part, even if you ignore that part of saying, people will, ignore if people have enough money, they'll spend it. If people are, the most important thing is if people feel like there's enough stability, then even if they don't have that much money, they will spend it.
Yeah.
Because they know and they can be sure that they will be able to acquire enough money to survive.
Yeah. Also, let's just put it like this: if there's better public infrastructure, you need to spend less on your car and gas and fuel, so you have more money to spend. If you take the money and put a big battery, solar, and a heat pump in every single household, that is a lot of money saved on energy that people can spend.
Also,
and
it creates jobs on maintenance again.
Yeah. Also, if you then maybe do Medicare for all, people don't need to be worried about fucking injuries anymore, and hospital bills wouldn't bleed them dry and put them into debt. That's, again, thousands of dollars that can be spent onto other stuff. Because the fact is, basically spending money to fix a broken leg is less good for the economy than buying a bunch of consoles. As stupid as that sounds. Or, go to your favorite restaurant around the corner. I mean, you also need to get rid of the suburbs, but that's a whole different topic. Like, there's a lot of stuff the USA needs to unfuck. But, again, building some good tram lines would start. Tram lines and protected bikeways. That would help already a lot with suburbs. Even if they're spread out.
The thing is, suburbs can work if they're designed properly. The problem is that the majority of them are not designed properly.
Yeah, that's what
I've seen suburbs that work.
Yeah, like I say, even the ones that you have, as long as you don't, if you say, maybe you put some special, you basically do some restructuring as like, build some central tram lines through them. Maybe you put on the stations like, hey, there could be mixed use buildings here, like some shops, etc. Again, protected bike lanes. Like, yeah, they're spread out. Then, but like you could also still make it so that.
Speaking of bike lanes, oh my god! Speaking of bike lanes, people who oppose bike lanes in the U.S. have the worst takes on them, and it's kind of annoying because, for the most part, people don't understand. Commuters don't understand that if there is separated bike lanes, they will be able to do two things. One, there'll be added safety for bicyclists and pedestrians, which means that supposing that you do lose a lane on the road, you can widen the lanes, which means that cars can have more capacity to go faster throughout the cities during their commutes, which, if you are doing proper signage and proper everything, you don't have to worry about that, even as pedestrians, because honestly, going 30 miles an hour and going 40 miles an hour, not that big of a difference on like how bad it is for a civilian to get hit by that. And we're already going that fast anyways. So, and I know that there's like an exponential increase after a certain point. I think it's like 15 miles an hour or something like that. But it's like the added levels of separation will not only reduce the number of cars on the road, meaning that you can do your commute faster because there's less traffic jam, but also it just makes everything so much easier. It's so much simpler.
And as soon as you add trams and trains, more people will use that, so the roads are even emptier, so the few people that still drive a car have more space.
Yeah. But, Zep, have you considered just one more lane, bro? Just one more lane. I swear, one more lane. It will fix everything. Just one more lane. Just let me build one more fucking lane.
I will admit, there are the very most minute places where one more lane is the correct option. But the problem is that people don't know where that's supposed to happen or where that's correct. Yeah. And when that does happen, it's the same thing. It's the cars that the cars and vehicles that actually did need that extra lane. It looks the same as the cars that just end up filling up that extra lane that wasn't needed.
Yeah, but if we're honest, most people don't even need a car. Like, as soon as we have the infrastructure in place, most people don't. There will be always some people that need. Farmers, for example, they need a car.
I mean,
But other
sometimes you just need that. Also for your job. Like, cars fill a role. But it's not everyone needs to use a car. That's not the role they
I could even see it being everyone has a car, sure, because you might need it at some point during the month. But it's not like everyone needs a car for their a car for their daily stuff.
Yeah.
at that
If you
point,
like-
we can just make public cars.
Yeah. And like, that's the thing. If you're just like, hey, I won't be stuck in traffic if I take the tram, and I can just do all my shopping with that, people will take the tram. Hell, here's the thing. What people also don't get is how things scale. Because like, trams and heavy rail, but like, for most areas, trams are enough. Are really fucking efficient per lane. Like,
Throughput is
the thing is, if you convert one car lane to a bike lane, the capacity, I think, goes up
why
by.
bike lane? We're talking about trams.
I want to say it goes up by like 10%. But if you do it for a tram, it's so much more capacity. And the thing is, it's also sheltered from the elements. You can climate it. People don't need to work for themselves. Like, it's one of those ironic things that, for example, if you look at Switzerland, for example, technically a lot of Swiss cities have pretty good infrastructure that you can drive a bike. They just have so good tram networks that no one wants to. Like, literally, bikes get out-trammed. The only thing is we maybe need to find something for the rednecks to do, because you can't really do redneck shit with a tram. Or they find something to do with it. But anyway. Hey, welcome to the Nyacast. We usually talk a lot about trains and infrastructure.
From time to time, yeah. It comes up.
We may be a little bit leftist on this stream.
Maybe.
Maybe. Yeah, it's like there are solutions, and they can be built. Like, as I said, you reactivate old train tracks. It's just sensible. Like, there's probably some old railway probably pretty close to your home, but there was a right of way, and you could just slam down some tracks and have a tram run over it, and it would solve so much. But also, the one reason why I keep saying trams are good for especially mid-sized towns is because you can run them through the center of your town. And the thing is, if things go where people want to go, they will take it. That's why they take cars. Because if you just get kinda close to it, but if you just end up where you want to go anyway, might as well take the train. Don't need to look for a place to park your car. You don't need to
The only
about fuel.
caveat of that is the capacity to move large quantities of items at one time. And I say this specifically because in America, and I know that this is partly a symptom of the problem. There's a culture of buying in bulk so that you make a trip to the store like once a week.
Yeah, I know.
Instead of going to the store every day.
I mean, it probably that might change depending on how everything is being structured.
I'm just saying, like, we are two people, so less than the typical American family.
Yeah.
You have one trolley, and we can do that for a week. So two people go with a trolley. That should work.
I actually, that's also a thing I need to point out. Like, I think America is also just overbuying a lot. Like, again, we're living here in like a small apartment. We have like a pretty small fridge. I wish we had a bigger one.
Yeah,
but that's a personal thing. And I usually do like one haul every week. Maybe some smaller stuff if I forget something. But yeah, I have a trolley. That's enough. I can walk. Yeah, I'm living in the big city, but like, and I can potentially just go again if I missed something, but like, hey, how many times does it happen that someone made a big haul, then it's like, fuck, I forgot it, takes the car keys and just drives back to the store?
At the very least here, it's like if we forget something at the store, then we just kind of like deal with it.
It's sometimes
It's
it's
very
also a
rare that
thing
we go
here.
back.
I know I mean, it's just like I usually can go. Sometimes I don't. It just depends. Like I know sometimes if it's important, people would drive or go anyway, and it's like, yeah, I don't know. Like I mean, I am from a rural area that where the whole one bulk buy was pretty normal, and even then, yeah. Again, I do think in the USA you kind of overbuy a fuck ton. Like it's not good.
Um,
Like I mean,
I mean, it depends, and some of it's poor planning, some of it's
let's
there's a
just,
lot of weird factors that go into how that
I
happens.
mean, hey, let's just talk about shopping carts for a second. Um, do you know that shopping carts are a whole science?
That what?
Shopping carts.
What about them?
Let me just go a bit through the history of shopping carts, okay? So, ba, 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 ba. Yeah, that's perfect actually. And then we just open this one and then we can compare. Perfect. So here's the thing. Shopping carts are actually a very, very interesting thing to this reminds me, I should be studying Scottish history. Oh, Scottish history! But yeah, this was the first shopping cart. Basically, this one here. You had like, two baskets, or, one basket, and that's it. The thing about the shopping cart was this idea that, a bigger base of people will buy more. Yeah, that's the thing. Because for everyone who doesn't know, basically the idea was if people can just carry them around, on their own, in front of their own, they will probably buy more. And then this is why they designed them like they are right now. So basically, they are bigger, they are slanted backwards, so things slide back. So there's always an empty part here tricking you, like, oh, I need to fill this up, because it's just a cognitive thing going on. Yeah, so this is one of those things on how you want to buy more. But also, like, I'm just looking into it right now here. If you look at, for example, this type of fridge, which are, two white doors, they're pretty common in America to a degree. Like, America has pretty big fridges. That's the same thing. Like, I generally agree, a big fridge can be useful. Having a pantry can be useful. But it also gives you a false illusion when you need to buy more. There's this double punch of the shopping cart being filled up, being designed that you fill it up to the brim, but also that you have giant fridges and pantries that you want to fill up. I mean, honestly, the mini fridges that some have, that they are kind of shit in terms of how they cool, but like a small fridge is usually pretty good. As long as it's an actual fridge and not,
Depends also how many people are in your household.
fair. But like, again, a lot of people are like 2 or 3 people, and like, it's a bit much. And a lot of times, people buy stuff that goes bad fast and not, stuff that actually can last you a long time. Because like, if I load up my pantry with a lot of noodles, I could use that. Same with rice. But yeah. I've got Scots in me and I've been looking into that part of my history. Oh, nice. Yeah, maybe I should also look more into my family history, but that's a different topic. The more I uncovered that, the more I was like, okay, that's wild. But yeah, that's the thing. There is a psychological factor in how, the American homes and kitchens are built that encourage buying more. And yeah, it's the 1-2 punch of Just
I mean, originally they were smaller. They were not the double door size. They were
Oh,
single
yeah.
door, but they were sold like tall tower type. But the thing is, families got bigger, and then
I mean, a lot of families are now smaller
Yeah.
in the USA, but
oh yeah, no, I'm talking when families got bigger. I'm talking about like when baby boomers and such came around.
what
Because
do you mean with?
you've had families of like five
Oh
as a
yeah, yeah.
smaller side.
I mean, listen. There's American homes versus European homes. Yeah, I know. I mean,
I mean, my grandma was a child of 12, I think.
my grandpa, 13, I think.
Yeah.
Or something like that. It was pretty bonk. No, he wasn't 13, but I think, not 13, but he was pretty small, but that was also due to the whole, war. But, before that, I think his father was definitely one of 13, but like, yeah. Drywall versus concrete. Oh, wait. Where is that, where is that video? YouTube. This, da, da, da.
I mean, for their purpose, like the reason why drywall became so commonly used in the U.S. makes sense.
I mean, you had a lot of wood and then you never switched off of it.
Yeah,
We never switched off. We gained a lot more expertise in wood, and we got interested in the idea of we're attracted by the idea of being able to do like renovations ourselves, to
I
do
mean,
modifications
that's
to
fair.
homes. For example, because we have drywall in our house, we were able to put like lighting fixtures in a new part of the house that needed needed updates because we moved things around and we changed things a bit.
I don't know, we just have.
There's also
Yeah.
the
By the way,
speed at which things came up.
by
As
the
well.
way, that's also like, I just want to wait. Why is it so? No.
Das ist eine deutsche Mauer.
Oh my god! Fucking AI translation. Nope. Can I? Why? Why?
Deaktiviert. I think.
No, it's the audio. I can't do it on. I'm sorry. I can't show you that because fuck YouTube.
You could mute it and we just read the subtitles.
It's less funny, but yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess. Made of paper and air. Very sure they're made of the same stuff.
It's useful, as Seb said. Has its
To a
upside.
degree, but like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's why
Also,
does
I
it?
will say, a lot of the construction where that guy is in the U.S. is the construction companies are
Oh yeah,
they've lost their capacity to make the houses properly, and not just the capacity but the will.
Yeah, he has just constant beef with them. It's very funny.
Yeah.
But yeah. No, the thing is just what you're saying. Okay, that
Yeah.
over the last year, I've been multiple times down at my parents' house and helped them renovate. And one of those things was actually putting up new cable work. And that house was built with concrete. Still did it. You just need a better drill.
I'm not saying. Oh, I'm not even just saying like that. It's so it's the simplicity of it and the ease of which you can modify your house. And I'm not just saying like, oh, put up new wires. I'm like entirely new light fixtures, entirely new like, and you can even like change entire rooms, fuse them, put up like you can adjust the floor plan of your house essentially by
I mean, that's fair, but
doing
also,
this stuff.
like, I need to point out that there's not really a lot. I mean, okay, here's the thing. we also did that. Like, my sister had a room that was 2 rooms before that, and we just literally put down the wall, put up a new wall. It's just more dust, basically.
Also, one of the other benefits of drywall walls is that you can use up less space and be more efficient with the insulation.
Once again, by the way, okay, not really. Like, okay, yes, technically it's thinner, but also, like, your houses suck ass at insulation. Like, you are saying, oh, you can be more efficient with insulation. You are talking to the nation that has, made insulation a national culture point. Like, our houses are fucking sealed. Our windows are triple glassed with extra foliage upon it. So it's just extra good at keeping cold out and, heat in. But, like, we insulate our houses so good, and they don't get eaten by termites.
One of the problems that we've needed to address is keeping the heat out.
Yeah, but I mean, that's actually a funny thing. Our houses also do that pretty well, as long as okay. Subtlety. Here's the thing. You're right. Here's the thing, though. As long as you keep shade in the house, they actually stay pretty cool. Like, again,
Still correct. We need to change our culture from survival of the not dying from heat death.
That's fair, yeah. Like,
because that's kind of how it looks right now.
But, like, the moment we have ACs, they would be basically running on the best banger houses. Like, also, again, I will repeat this. We also need more awnings because, like, so again, we live in a row house, and I had the south side window, south side room with a balcony and like a nice big window front. It got pretty fucking hot in summer in there. So that's why I pulled down the curtains, because German curtains are banger. Like, if you think like, oh, curtains, how much can they be? Just keep in mind, the average curtain in German homes looked like this. So basically putting up a metal wall in between you and the sun. This keeps out the heat, because the heat doesn't even reach your fucking window. And when I did that, yeah, it was dark in the room, but it was pretty chill, because, the heat didn't get to it. Also, one floor down, the living room, now you had, basically, it also had a balcony, but my balcony was above it. So there was it was basically a concrete awning. So no heat directly hit the living room ever. And it's always pretty nice to be there, when it's summer. It just stays pretty comfortable, because again, you have just a big part of the house that's in shade. And the moment you have shade and, concrete walls and good insulation, it gets cool. Because not a lot of heat can seep in that easily. It's all building techniques, baby. Meanwhile, by the way, Zeb, wood is not that good at insulating from heat. I'm sorry.
No, we don't use wood for insulation.
I know, you have you have paper in between. Japan is going to be the one to bring us into the future. I don't even know. Honestly, Japan has different problems. Here's the thing. Again, if Germany would just put fucking heat pumps in our homes, we would have the best houses in the world. Period. Because Japan is like, yeah, there's a meme why it's too hot in summer and too cold in winter, because they just don't have heating.
Oh, they have it, but
I mean, they have, but like the Japanese solution to heating is a table with a cloth. Listen, comfortable, but what the fuck? What the fuck? Actually. And, we need better insulated houses because that drops energy prices and then...
All right, I gotta get going.
Oh, yeah.
Gotta
it's
Get
late.
something to
go
do?
have dinner.
Yeah.
Yes.
See ya. I talk
All right,
about
talk to you
technologically. Oh,
Bye.
boy.
Bye.
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 Okay, technologically. Okay, should we talk about how they are still like worse off in terms of digitalization in Germany?
In some parts,
People still use flip phones in Japan.
I mean, they're cooler. Smartphones shouldn't exist
cooler.
anyway.
What?
Smartphones shouldn't exist anyway. Go back to Nokia.
Return to Nokia.
Yeah.
Well,
You heard it here first.
return to Nokia. But yeah, I mean, they have some.
Imagine, like, how much people would not be on their phone anymore if they would go back to Nokia.
Also, they're still using a lot of fax, like more than we do. Like Germany actually
Yeah, that's
digitalized.
terrible, I know.
It's just like wow. And we still use fax in the wrong places, but still, just want to point that one out. Proto-Barbarian intensity, yeah, in parts, but also in a lot of parts they just don't use that. It's kind of funny about that. Like there are some parts, especially companies, are very technologically advanced, but then you go into the country and it's like, holy shit, is this analog and offline? Like there is so much analog stuff still. Like again, they still use fax for so much. And again, flip phones are still sold because a lot of people just don't want smartphones.
Which is understandable.
I guess.
Like, I have a phone because I need to.
Everyone has a phone because they need to.
I'm a very weird non-phone person.
Yeah, like this is like Japan has some really good things technologically, but also like
It's not implemented nationwide, not even
Yeah.
close.
not even close, which is kind of hilarious if you think about it.
It's a sad thing. They could
Yeah.
do it.
They could.
Same with Germany. Like, Germany isn't in the best part, not as good as Japan in this specific category. But our rural areas, internet-wise, total ass.
Yeah, and they could have. Hey, you know what? Because we're probably ending this out. Do you want to have a funny story about how why this worked? It's the science I'm after. I mean, they're doing some good science, but like in terms of science, a lot of countries are. I mean, even China's kind of catching up. It's like on an equal level. There's also a lot of stuff still being researched in Germany. So like, yeah. Like science is happening all over the globe. It's just I think to the degree Japanese stuff is more, it's more trendy to say they made something new when I think there's like one company in Germany who's like currently making an optical CPU, which would be huge, and they're like actually pretty close at making one that you could actually produce. Like imagine optical CPUs. That would be big. Just saying, it's not just Japan. I mean, China's still catching up. They're in some parts equal, but not all of them. That's a different topic. Russia just fell off a fucking cliff. It's just like, I don't think Russia is coming back technologically in the near future. If they are even existing anymore, that's a different topic. But like, but yeah, you want to hear the funny story why Germany doesn't have really good internet? It's amazing because here's the thing. Back back in the 90s, they were basically talking about, hey, we need to build internet, okay? And the two options people had were, okay, we either could, put down more copper wire, or we could put down optic fiber. And back then, the commission the commission to them said you should use optic fiber. Every activist group said use optic fiber. Every company said use optic wire. So, okay, this was the era Kohl. So, conservatives. The literal cousin of the guy responsible for this decision had a copper wire company. Guess what they decided on? I'm not kidding you. It's like literally the cousin. It's so fucking blatant. It's insane. And they were like, yeah, we can totally boost that. There's still juice in copper wire. No. Hey, you want to hear another no fiber optic? Yeah, everyone was like, do it, and then they were like, no, we give the grant out for copper wire, and then it was ass. Whoops. We could have had fiber optic everywhere. You know what? That's just good old bribery at this point. This isn't even fucking capitalism. I mean, technically it is, but like, it's like, again, it's just nepotism. It's just like, even the companies were like, listen, give us the grant for optic fiber. And then they were like, no, because guess what? The cousin had to get rich. Want to hear another fun thing? So they privatized our train company, but not really. And the Deutsche Bahn was privatized, and it just kind of collapsed, and they're just now recovering. Better than anyone expected. Like, they're making a profit off of regional rail right now. That's huge. Think about that. They're making profits off of regional rail. Still, basically, they were murdered, and you're like, oh, so why was this done? The minister for that was in the FDP, so the neoliberals, and the moment he left politics, he joined the fucking car lobby. Again, if you wrote that as a script for a TV show, you would be said, this is too on the nose. Okay. I think we can wrap this one up here, though. See you probably all tomorrow. Unsure how the whole setup goes. I kind of wanted to actually stream these days a boomer shooter as well, besides trying to program more, but probably gonna do that tomorrow because I'm still recovering from illness, and it would be pretty nice to do that. Yeah. Everyone have a wonderful weekend ahead of you. Hopefully I can return to Godot tomorrow. Need to be prepared for the Battlefield 6 launch. And, just my project in general. And Silent Hill F on Sunday. Again, I gave you all a head start. So if I'm catching up onto you, that's on you then. You had enough time. Talking crap about Agent Orange and he will always be fun. Agent Orange is definitely a good name for him because he's so fucking toxic. Anyway, yeah, have a great week. Have a great weekend as well. Sleep well and stay safe and stay healthy. Bye. Bye.